What is up, Husker Nation? Welcome back to the Wilson Dittman Sports Channel here on YouTube, where we talk about everything related to basketball, whether it's recruiting, whether it's staff, whether it's players, right here on this channel. But let's get right into it. Matt Rhule gets his quarterback only a couple days after Dylan Raiola commits to Georgia. He comes right back and says, hey, we have a really talented in-state quarterback named Daniel Kaelin. I know he's committed to Missouri right now, but we're going to snatch him, and that's exactly what we did. Woo! Just like that. We got our guy. Man, I'm pumped up. Yeah, Danny Kaelin was definitely an interesting case. Committed to Missouri 2 months ago. And he was the guy, we talked about on the channel where I said I felt like we could get back at him and get him to come here if Raiola wasn't coming. It was never going to be a situation where if we ever got Raiola, he would never come here. That was never going to happen. There was never going to be two quarterbacks in class 2024. So it was important for us to get him now and kind of tell him, hey, Raiola off the table. You're number one option. Let's go. Because Danny Kaelin wanted to be here, man. He wanted to be here. He wanted to stay in the state. He made that abundantly clear throughout the process. He was very interested in Nebraska. And this was a very possible reality where, hey, if we gave him a call and said, hey, Raiola's committed somewhere else, we're not going after him anymore, you are now our number one priority, Daniel Kaelin will decommit. And he did. Instantly. He instantly decommitted. He didn't even have to think about it. Yeah, there's a bunch of crystal balls for Nebraska that were put in for him the other day. Like before he decommitted, they were just put in, and then once he did, in fact, decommit, a bunch of them put in. Like there was a Kentucky insider, Notre Dame insider who were putting in random crystal balls too. Like everybody put in crystal balls, and then there you go. He did in fact commit to us. I mean, let's talk about it. I mean, this is a 4-star prospect. I don't think he's not rated a 4-star anymore, but he used to be. He's rated a 3-star. That's fine. He's a 4-star quality player. The talent, man, the talent is off the charts. He's in-state, obviously, Bell West. People around the Omaha Metro are very familiar with him. I've watched him play. Threw for 4,000 yards last year, 41 touchdown passes. I don't want to say, hold on. No, not 4,000, 3,000 yards last year. Averaged about 300 yards per game, 36 touchdowns, 7 INTs. I mean, man, he played really well last year with Bell West. We know they have a stacked receiver core, but he had a really good year, especially that was his first main year on varsity, where he was the starter, where he was the guy, and he had a really solid year. Although Bell West did struggle as a whole, but he had a good year. He also, he is a dual threat quarterback. He rushed for almost 200 yards with 3 rushing touchdowns. So this is a guy who can run. He's not completely pro style. But yeah, there's a lot of reasons to like Danny Kaelin. But let's get to the scouting report for him, what you can expect for him when he does in fact play here. And then we'll start to talk about what you can expect, like how the development's going to go, when I think he'll end up playing for us, all that. But yeah, he's 6'3", 200 pounds, really good pocket presence. You watch any of his film with Bell West, really good pocket presence. That was a tight spiral. That's one of the things I really like about him. He's just really crafty, but he's a traditional tight spiral player. He throws the ball. Really good form. You've seen, like, Jeff Sims, for example, is a great example of this. Jeff Sims does not throw the ball great. His whole form when he cocks his arm back is not traditional. Danny Kaelin, you can see, there is method behind it. But yeah, he has really good accuracy. The arm strength isn't great. It isn't elite, but it's not bad. I'd say it's above average. He does throw on the run really well. His footwork, like we talked about his pocket presence, I think it's probably the best we've seen out of a quarterback inside the state of Nebraska since, you'd have to go back to that West Side quarterback a couple years ago. Cole Payton. Cole Payton probably had close to enough good footwork to him, but I really like his pocket presence. And he's also a really intelligent quarterback. That's probably my favorite thing about Daniel Kaelin is that not only is he a super intelligent quarterback, you saw with the stats, only 7 INTs compared to 35 touchdown passes. But the thing is, he's also smart off the field. This is a guy who has a 4.3 GPA at Bellevue West. 4.3. That is incredibly impressive. I mean, this is a hard worker. This is a guy who's a standout individual. That's something you absolutely like to see from quarterbacks who are academic weapons. Like all you want to see that for all your positions, but quarterback specifically, you feel really good about having a guy who prioritizes the classroom under center. You love to have that, and I know Matt Rule does as well. Man, I'm pumped up about this. I'm pumped up about Danny Kaelin. I think Danny Kaelin still has some work to do. He's a little bit raw. But man, oh man, I think he's primed for a really big senior year. It does worry me a little bit that he didn't play. He didn't start on varsity until he was a junior. That did worry me a little bit. But he played really well last year. So I'm not worried about that anymore. I just can't wait to see where this goes, man. I'm a little shocked it happened so quick. I thought maybe, perhaps, he would wait a little bit, reconsider with Missouri, but no, he just Matt Rule called him and he said, "Yeah, I'm decommitting from Missouri and committed to Nebraska." Like, wow, just like that. And you love to see it, man. You absolutely love to see it. But let's talk about what I think the process is going to look like. Danny Kaelin's not a guy I think is going to start as a true freshman or really be in that discussion as a true freshman. He very well could be. It really depends on what we think about Jeff Sims. Jeff Sims still has a couple years of eligibility left. If Jeff Sims balls out for us this year, yeah, I think we're going to redshirt Danny Kaelin and wait on him. Honestly, if I were to guess, I'd say Jeff Sims does not ball out this year. And I'd say Jeff Sims enters the transfer portal or does some shenanigans like we've seen the last couple of years with Nebraska. That's just what happens around here. So maybe Danny will have a shot out of high school. I doubt it. I think the way his process is going to work is that he's going to be here for about 1-2 years developing, learning the system, learning Satterfield's offense, and then we'll see him take some, get in the quarterback battle and against, maybe Henrik Harburg. Maybe the quarterback room's looking bleak for the future. So he might have a wide open room by the time he becomes a second year in college. So man, I'm just pumped up about this get. And what's also important about getting Danny Kaelin is that it's important for the other Bell West receivers in this class. There's 2 main ones who we need to go after. We've been going after for a while. First one is Devon Hall, which we talked about in the past, who's a 4-star. Hold on. I want to pull up his information real quick. Devon Hall, 4-star. Dude, this is okay. My goodness. Yep. So Devon Hall, 4-star, and then Isaiah McMorris, who I think is rated 3-star right now, but he is 4-star talent. Isaiah McMorris actually played better than Devon Hall. I think Isaiah McMorris was the receiving leader in the entire state last year. At the top of my head. So yeah, this is good to get both of them because right now, Devon Hall, he has a crystal ball in Nebraska, but what insiders are saying and what I've, you hear a lot of things about these kids that are inside the state. You hear a lot of inside sources, especially if you're connected with high school football like I am. He has a crystal ball in Nebraska now that's outdated. This dude's leaning Penn State and Oklahoma right now. Not Penn State, Oklahoma, Penn State and Texas A&M. He's leaning there. That he recently got offered by Texas A&M. And then Isaiah McMorris, that was one I meant to say, was he's leaning towards Oklahoma, and he just got recently a crystal ball to USC, which is interesting. But, yeah, those guys, specifically them, I know more about Devon Hall, but I know Devon Hall is a guy where the only way he's going to commit here is if he sees it in year 1 for Rule. And that's been taught, that's been heard around the grapevine. But the fact is, quarterback is going to be here now. I think that can play a really big part in Hall and McMorris landing here, because it's a tight bond. They're all friends. It's a tight bond. And I'm going to tell you this right now. We need Isaac McMorris on this recruiting class. We need Devon Hall. That would be spectacular to get both of them. Those guys are studs. And we have a pipeline in Bell West that we have not dipped into. We have lost so much talent from Bellevue West. It's ridiculous. Whether that's Keegan Johnson, whether that's the tight ends from the previous classes, Ducker, Micah Riley Ducker, or Caden Helms. There have been so many good receivers and whatnot come from Bell West specifically, and we have not dipped into it all. They don't want to come here, and that's what we'll need to change. Get into that pipeline, because Bellevue West, man, they might not win state titles every year like you see from West Side, or you see Gretna won a state title. State won the state title, got taken away from them, but they're not D1 machines. Bellevue West is a D1 machine. You see them produce multiple D1 players every single class, so we need to build a pipeline into there. So that very important to me. That was very important, I think, in getting Daniel Kaelin. Was they got to understand that this allows them an even better chance at getting those two guys, which I think are blue chips. You absolutely need to get Isaiah McMorris and Devon Hall. And I mean blue chips from a perspective of blue chip in-state prospects. Every now and then you see, 3-star in-state prospects that are okay. These are blue chip in-state prospects. These guys are going to be studs if they come here. So, yeah, man, I'm just really excited about Daniel Kaelin. I know he's going to peer recruit too. I always say this, but quarterback is the most important peer recruiter position by far. Okay, so important. And I need Daniel Kaelin to be active, because there was a bunch of, for example, Heinrich Harburg was not a good peer recruiter. Richard Torres, not a good peer recruiter. I'll tell you who was a good peer recruiter. Who was one? That's actually, Nebraska hasn't had a lot, but you see a lot of times with Daniel Kaelin, for example. He's a great peer recruiter, because quarterbacks get all these connections because they go to all these camps and they know all these 4-star, 5-star guys, and they recruit them. William Watson was a good peer recruiter. He didn't end up coming here, but he was a good peer recruiter. We need Daniel Kaelin to be outspoken. I need him to peer recruit not only his peers at Bell West, but all other guys in state, and most importantly, other guys, around the Midwest, and guys who maybe are Missouri commits already. Like, this guy's went to a lot of camps last summer. He knows a lot of guys. He has connections. So I hope Daniel Kaelin kind of moves some strings there, because we need him to be outspoken and get some guys here, because we need to team up. We need him to have a good class. But, man, I'm super stoked by this. Matt Rule got his guy. Yeah. So I just wanted to come up with this video real quick. But, yeah, I just say don't expect this guy to start right away. He's not doing that. But this is a guy who has a potential to go pro. I'll say that. He loves this program. He wants to be a part of it. He's a smart fellow, right? This isn't a dude who doesn't care. This is a guy who's going to go in here and try his all, and he's going to work hard in the classroom, and that's exactly what you want from a quarterback who's going to be leading your program. And this is a guy who, honestly, I could see be a starting quarterback here for 2, 3, 4 years. And that's a great thing in modern college football. You don't want guys like Casey Thompson, and you don't want guys like Jeff Sims who are just plug and play, right? And guys who aren't going to stick around. You want guys like Daniel Kaelin who are going to stick around and potentially go pro. And that's what I really like about him, man. So, yeah, I know he's fired up. I know he was kind of waiting for this. Yeah, I think he did visit Nebraska multiple times. It was on campus in December, because we didn't offer him until May of last year. But yeah, there's this quote apparently from him. He said, "Coach Sat does a lot of different stuff on offense. So many some of that he did at South Carolina. Coach Rule said they would be balanced, and Coach Sat that they utilize play action as well. I think the offense really fit me." So yeah, he likes the offense. But yeah, Daniel Kaelin, really like it. Really like that he wants to be here. This is a guy who wants to be here. That is what I'm going to end on. Okay? This is a guy who wants to be here. I ended my Dylan Raiola thing, my video about him, and I said, Dylan Raiola does not want to be here. Say what you want. This dude does not want to be here. He committed to Ohio State, then he committed to Georgia. He had 2 opportunities to commit to Nebraska, and he didn't do it. He does not want to be a Nebraska Cornhusker, and therefore I don't want him. I don't want people who aren't committed to being a Nebraska Cornhusker. And Daniel Kaelin is, because the second rule called him and said, hey, Dylan Raiola is committed to Georgia. He's off the table. We don't want him anymore. He's done. He's dead to us. You're our guy now. You're a number 1 option. We want you. And Daniel Kaelin did not hesitate. He said, yes, sir, coach, I'm in. Decommits from Missouri and now commits to us. He wants to be here. He wants to contribute to this program, and he wants to be a part of something special. And that is something admirable, and that's why I'm fired up about this, man. And he's an in-state kid, and we're not letting go away. He's a 4-star talent. He's a guy who has high potential, and he's high work ethic, and he's high character. And this is the first quarterback prospect in a long freaking time that I can safely say I think is going to be a success here. Right? I didn't feel that way about William Watson. I didn't feel that way about Richard Torres, and I sure as heck did not feel that way about Heinrich Haarberg. Okay? I didn't think that way about Luke McCaffrey either. The last quarterback I had that feeling about was Adrian Martinez, and it did work out. Daniel Kaelin's going to work out here, though, and I feel good about it, and I'm ready to go. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see what he does senior year. I'm excited to see if he brings along Devon Hall and Isaiah McMorris, and I'm excited to see what Matt Rule does with the class. Let's go, baby. Matt Rule gets his quarterback. He gets his guy. Daniel Kaelin, welcome to the Big Red. Let's go, and we got him. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys have any comments, anything to add, let me know below. But if you do in fact like the content, please hit the like button and in fact subscribe. And if you do comment and say, hey, you subscribed, I'll personally respond to every single one of those. But thank you guys once again for watching, and have a good one. Go Big Red.